I know I'm among friends. I know that you share our pain over the events of October 7th. I came here to tell you on German soil, we will win this war. On the 7th of October, Jews were murdered, babies were massacred, women were raped, the elderly were burned alive, families were taken hostage. The next day, October the 8th, anti-Semites already told the world, like always, that the Jews were to be blamed for being murdered. We will not let them, and it will not help them. We will rise from the ashes and from the grief and start again. The state of Israel wasn't found with the belief that anti-Semitism will disappear. It was founded so that we can tell anti-Semites they can go screw themselves. It was founded so we can tell the world we will defend ourselves by ourselves in any way we must. Two people influenced my life. Although they are both family and both loved each other very much, they are the two most different people on earth. My late father, Joseph Tommy Lapid, may memory be blessed, and my wonderful daughter, Yair Lapid, she's 27 years old. My father was fat. My daughter is beautiful. My father was loud. My daughter is quiet. My father was European by culture, American in his understanding of democracy, and Jewish by destiny. My daughter was born in Israel and lived in Israel all her life. My father was a man of words. He read and wrote books. He had a very successful popular radio program. When he would rise to speak in the Knesset when he served as Minister of Justice, the building would be on alert. Who was he going to insult with a sharp wit this time? Who would be bombarded by arguments? My daughter doesn't speak. She's a young woman with special needs, medium to low functioning autistic. She lives with 8 friends like her in a house near ours, and we meet her almost every day. When I meet her, sometimes she holds my hand and we sit there in silence. Those are the most blissful moments of my life. Aside from being family, there is one more thing that connects my father and my daughter, and that is from the day they were born, there were people who wanted to kill them, and they didn't understand why. My father was a boy in the Budapest ghetto. His father, my grandfather, was murdered in the Mauthausen concentration camp. Of the 21 Jewish students or children in my father's class, 14 were killed in the camps and in the ghettos. He didn't understand why is it that so many people want him to die. What did he ever do to them? In the past few months, a few times a day, sirens blare in the neighborhood where I live. And missiles are fired towards our home, and I need to convince my daughter to go into the bomb shelter. She does not understand why. We hear loud explosions, which scares her. She knows something bad is happening, but I do not know what does she think about it. I do not always know what I think about it. I'm curious to know, what do you think about it? About the fact that the world wanted to kill my father when he was a 13-year-old boy, and the world now wants to kill my daughter, who has never done anything and is not capable of doing anything to anyone. My father did not control the world's media or the global banking system. He was actually not very good with money. My daughter does not run Hollywood or Wall Street. That would be hard to do without words. My father did not hate Christians, he grew up with them. My daughter is not Islamophobic. The only Muslim she knows is Hussein, who works in the house where she lives. He is a friend, he's my friend too. My father was not a colonialist. He was a refugee. My daughter is not an occupier. She's a survivor. I do not know why there are people all over the world in every generation that hate and want to kill my father and my daughter. They always have different excuses. Sometimes because we are communists, sometimes because we are capitalists, sometimes because we isolate, sometimes because we assimilate, sometimes because we are people without the land, sometimes because we dare to create a country for ourselves. After the Holocaust, the world have said, never again. And then it happened again, and again. And then it happened on October the 7th. There will always be people who want to murder Jews. The answer is not to explain to them why they are wrong. The answer is to make sure they cannot. I do not know why people hate Jews so much, but we are done running away. My answer to anti-Semitism, to the hatred of Jews, is a strong Jewish state with a strong Jewish army, which says to those who hate us, we will not be victims. Israel will wage this war until we win. It will wage this war until the last of the hostages is home with their families. It will wage this war until the last of those who were displaced can go back home. We will not be refugees in our own country. Israel will fight because if we do not win this war, it will happen again. Hamas says so publicly. They do not regret what happened on October the 7th. They have no remorse. They have said again and again, we are pleased we killed all those babies. We are pleased we raped those women. If we get the chance, we will do it again. They will not get the chance. We will not let them. Our war is not with the people of Gaza. We are doing and will do everything we can to avoid harm innocent civilians. We are doing and will do everything we can to work with our friends in the world, Germany being among the closest and most important of them, to give Gaza a better future after Hamas is eradicated. But still, this will not be a pleasant war. It won't look good. There is no such thing as a pleasant war. Definitely not against an enemy which uses women and children as human shields. That is exactly the reason why we must win, for our children and for theirs. I hear the criticism against us, and it sounds horribly familiar, horribly ancient. 2 weeks ago, the United Nations Secretary General invoked Article 99, a rarely used UN article which allows him to call a special meeting of the Security Council. He used it to call a meeting about the Israeli attack on Gaza. That article wasn't used for decades. It wasn't used when 500,000 people were killed in Syria and 11 million lost their homes. It wasn't used when 4 million people were killed in Congo. It wasn't used when 500,000 were killed in Darfur. It wasn't used when Russia invaded Ukraine and the whole world was dragged into the war. The only time it was used was when the Jews were murdered, and then it was used against the Jews. It was done in your name. You shouldn't agree to it. You must raise a voice against it. I know you're not anti-Semites, of course. Our friendship, the friendship I feel in this room is a flicker of light in the darkness. But there are anti-Semites marching in your streets. And there are anti-Semites in your media. And there are anti-Semites in the United Nations. And if we don't fight back together, it won't only hurt us, it will also stain you forever. Israel will fight this war against Hamas in Gaza, against the anti-Semites, against hypocrites and liars and useful idiots in the campuses. And together with our friends in the world, together with you, we will win. We will win because we've seen what defeat looks like. We have no other choice. We know what risk we cannot afford to take. The risk is that my daughter will be killed. And my father is not going to allow this to happen. Thank you very much.